Hi, this is the voice of Heidie Calero, again sharing with you this economic capsule. Today we are going to talk about the external trade statistics, specifically imports and exports that really relate our consumption patterns, as I indicated the past week, and also our production, the structure of production incentivized by Section 936 of the U.S. Tax Code, as well as local incentives. Let's look at the following graph where we depict Puerto Rico's imports. In 1984, it was $10 billion, of which 2% were in agriculture, pharmaceuticals 3%, 6% were electronics, 8% were vehicles, and then the rest, 81%, it includes from clothing, apparel, shoes, other personal care, lots of goods, consumer goods. Let's fast forward 3 decades. Now we are at the rate of $46 billion in 2018, of which notice this tremendous increase in pharmaceuticals, 34%. And that's not only because of medicines, it includes intermediate goods which will be necessary for the production of our exports of pharmaceuticals. 8% were computer and electronics, 7% in vehicles, and 50% the rest of consumer and other merchandise goods. Now, where does Puerto Rico, from where does Puerto Rico import? Where does Puerto Rico buy these products? Well, 50% come from the U.S. and approximately 31% come from other countries such as Ireland, South Korea, China, Brazil, Switzerland. And it's why Ireland? Well, part of those products that come for pharmaceuticals come for the production of pharmaceuticals in our exports. Let's look now at our exports. Well, in 1984, Puerto Rico exported $9 billion. That was less than the $10 billion in imports that we had in 1984. Usually we have a positive balance, more exports than imports. Well, in 1984, 19% were pharmaceuticals, 20% were computer and electronics, and medical devices started somewhere in 2000. And the rest, other products, were 61% in 1984. Fast forward 3 decades. Now, 73% of a total of $61 billion in 2018 are pharmaceuticals, highly intensive in capital, not labor intensive, generating a lot of profits because they are, after all, very intensive in capital and they are exposed to global competition. 6% were computer and electronics, 10% medical devices, and 12% other products. Again, with 6% annual growth, very positive. Where do our exports go to? Where do we sell them? 75% of our exports go to the U.S. And all the trade that comes to and from Puerto Rico to the U.S. and back from the U.S. to Puerto Rico has to come in U.S. flagships, which are really very expensive. So Puerto Rico has to really compete in quality and the types of products that it has in order to have this extraordinary growth in exports. Now, the important thing, there are 2 risks that are affecting our external trade, particularly our exports. They are intensive in capital, and now they pay through Law 154, approximately 19 companies pay like $2 billion to the general fund, to the government of Puerto Rico, and they are allowed, under a gentleman's agreement with the U.S. Treasury, to take that against their IRS taxes. Well, the Secretary of Treasury just announced to the governor of Puerto Rico that there must be a transition that's not going to be allowed anymore. And secondly, there's a rumor that there's going to be a 40% increase in electricity. What are these companies going to do? So there are lots of risks in terms of what is ahead. So next week we will talk about our big brother government as also a very avid consumer. Thank you.